What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy Lucha Lucha, aka Matthew J. Brownlee, and I'm back with another Raw Talk. Man, I'm gonna try to get this as quick as I can. I really, man, Raw is not good. I say that every week. Raw is never. I don't enjoy Raw. Another pro. Okay, so get this out the way. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all the good stuff in the book. Uh, I somehow got into five of these things. Uh, Man, it just wasn't a good show, and it's crazy that there's a 3 hour show and then there's like barely anything that's good. So, of course, I'm gonna get to what did not make the top of the list. The one match, I think there was only one match in here that did not make the top five. I think there was 6 matches. But there was a lot. There was a lot of talking during this show. Um, but the match that did not make the list was uh, everything that had to do with like the beginning women's stuff with Charlotte and Shayna Baszler. Like when I first heard this match, Charlotte and Shayna Baszler, I was excited. I was like, oh yeah, Charlotte Shayna Baszler, yes, 1-on-1. And then the match ended like that, so it was a disqualification. And then Mandy Rose and Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke come out, and then whatchamacallit comes out, Lacey Evans, and then there's a six woman tag match, and then that ends up being a disqualification because I'm assuming like during the match, Charlotte like really knocked Shayna for a loop when it was on the outside, and then the baby faces won, and then she couldn't get the 10 count, and then they restarted the match because of course that wasn't the finish they wanted. I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon was not a happy person at that. And then they restarted the match, and then they did stuff with Charlotte and Lacey, and then oh my god, Nia did this nasty chokeslam thing and like banged Dana back her neck, probably like messed her whole head up, and then gave her a leg drop for the win. Like this whole thing was just a mess from beginning to end. And when they did a thing where Ric Flair was showing Lacey like some wrestling moves, and Charlotte came out, told Lacey to get out, then talked down Ric Flair a little bit, and then when she was coming back, Lacey Evans hit her with a women's right, and then she asked Rick to come on and show me how to do the wheel. Yeah, that was just no good. I really wish we would have got an actual Charlotte and Shayna match, which we didn't get, which is unfortunate. Like, and I'll talk about it more later, but that did not make the list. Um, Other stuff that happened, Drew came in and she talked about having COVID. He was saying that he was fortunate, telling everybody to be safe and stuff like that. He moves on to Goldberg, and then Miz and Morrison come out. They do their thing about they're two of the biggest people, but they're gonna get like tired and exhausted, and then Miz is gonna come in and cash in his Money in the Bank. Goldberg comes out, just says, "Drew, you're next," and then a little funny. Morrison and Miz was going back and forth. It was like, "Hey, you gonna let him take that from you? You see that he's all?" And then Morrison was like, "He's all up in your face. You gonna let him be in your face like that?" Uh, and then they stood and they looked at him. Was like, "Oh no, don't look at us. Look at it. Look at each other. That's the money match. That's the champion." And then they looked at each other. I was like, "Yeah, there you go." And then they beat him up, which was hilarious. Um, One gave us a spear, and then the other gave King Morgan and stuff like that. So that was hilarious. Um, yeah. So I guess I talk about whatever. Oh, I'll talk about that later too, though. So number five on my list of the top five is AJ Styles versus Truth. Uh, AJ Styles has been on this mission to uh, not have anybody in the Royal Rumble that doesn't deserve it. He did it with Drew Gulak. He did with Ricochet, and now he did it with R-Truth. I kind of like the little story that they're telling that AJ's like the gatekeeper of the Royal Rumble, even though everybody's been in like the Royal Rumble or WWE longer than him, who was in the match, and he's like the gatekeeper. I do sort of a little bit, kind of like the idea that last year it was like everybody and their mother wanted to be in the Royal Rumble. Like this year, you have to be, you have to have accolades. Like you have to show your worth about being in the Royal Rumble. To be fair to Drew Gulak, yes, he was a former cruiserweight champion, but that was years ago. He, he did some good stuff with Daniel Bryan. I mean, I probably would have wished they was like, well, what did you do? And I kind of wish he was like, well, I'm a former cruiserweight champion. I beat Daniel Bryan, but then AJ Styles would have been like, yeah, so did I for the Intercontinental Championship. I've been there, done that. He probably would have did that. But and now he's just chasing the 24/7 championship. So I kind of could have understood. Like he could have made those points, but I probably could have understood when he did that. Same thing with Ricochet. He could have been like former United States champion, stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, me too. I beat you for the United States champion. So he had a lot of things for them. And then, but R-Truth also, 24/7 champion, like 700,000 times 24/7 champion, stuff like that. But I do like that they're at least attempting to do the story. Like people who's in it is, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, I guess Elias is in there. I don't know what really Elias has done, but them, there's a lot of, star-studded people who's in it. So that's good. This match was fine. AJ Styles doing like the little stories like, hey, Omos, this is what I'm going to do to him at the Royal Rumble. And he's about to try to throw him over the top rope, but R-Truth reverses. He throws him over the top rope and he gets mad. There's a lot of back and forth stuff, but in the end, R-Truth did like the 5-knuckle shuffle. He was going to go for the attitude adjustment, but like AJ like smoothly reverses it into the calf crusher and makes R-Truth tap. So that was good stuff. Number 4, Xavier Woods versus Shane Thorne. Xavier Woods has been doing very good with these singles matches. I honestly don't even know if I need this because I have a mic, but I just like to keep it close to me. But yeah, Xavier Woods, like as a singles dude, like right now has been killing it. They're doing the story with Retribution, and it makes sense. Everything that they give Ali, makes sense. I kind of just wish it wasn't just each week Woods fights off a Retribution member. Like next week, is he gonna face off against Reckoning or something like that? Maybe he's gonna, cause I assume that. So I assume that Woods, Woods is gonna be in the Royal Rumble. I assume that everybody in Retribution is gonna be in the Royal Rumble. So my guess would be that Woods might eliminate everybody from Retribution. Obviously, like they would sort of dominate, and then they eliminate, everybody. Xavier Woods comes out, he gets on a roll. He eliminates a few guys from there, and then a whole bunch of other people come out. And then those are the two. Maybe they try to get Xavier Woods out, but he's like finds a way to get Ali out, and then Ali, gets Woods out, or maybe like Big E comes out too. And they tag team against Retribution or whatever like that. I don't know. I think there's something like that will happen. But this was a good match. Xavier Woods is great. Slapjack, aka Shane Thorne, is fantastic. Well, they're both fantastic. I should have said like he's great, and then the other they're both equally fantastic. They did say that Woods as a single star is underutilized, and he is very, very I wouldn't say underutilized, but he's very underrated. And he had a great Shining Wizard that he did on Shane Thorne, aka Slapjack. That was good stuff. This time Retribution tried to get in again, but it didn't work. And they had a good solid match, man. I like right out the gate. Xavier Woods, he wasn't playing games. He wasn't joking. He came in, no trombone, no Francesca 2. Comes in, straight serious, bell rings, boom, shotgun drop kick on him, starts, beating him up and stuff like that. And then went with the Shining Wizard. Ali cut promo before saying, are you, like, you really don't understand why I'm attacking the people that you love, pretty much because of what happened 2 years ago, like that. And then he cut up another promo. They came in, they get a nice double slam move on Woods. He pushes Slapjack, tells him to get a chair, and they all hold him. He, lifts it up like he's about to hit him, and he sits it down. He said, "Hey, you're gonna do something for me. I want you to delay a message for Kofi Kingston. I heard that he's not gonna be in the Royal Rumble. Well, guess what? Found him a suitable replacement. He's gonna be replaced by Mustafa Ali because of what the replacement that Kofi did for him." And he just laughs, and and then they all leaves and they take him out. So the story's good. And if Kofi Kingston also delivered a promo on his Twitter. It's very good. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's actually really, really good. Number 3 is Asuka. I put Asuka versus Alexa Bliss. I was gonna use it as number 2, but the more I thought about it, the more it made me mad. So first of all, this whole thing, like, what another problem with Raw was, they spent like 10, 15 minutes on. There was like, oh, let's go back to this Asuka or this Alexa Bliss, Randy Orton stuff, and they literally showed the whole thing about last week of what happened with Randy Orton. They showed what he did last week about what happened to him the week before. They showed that whole segment, and then they cut to Alexa Bliss, who did the same, who showed the same exact thing with Randy Orton. Literally just showed like for the whole 10 minutes, and then Alexa Bliss came in and she did the whole thing, said the whole thing, and then she included the Asuka stuff. And it's like, why did you recap this whole thing in 20 minutes? You could have just used that whole thing for an extra match. Like, Keith Lee wasn't even on the show. How is he not on the show for 2 weeks? Keith Lee's not on the show. You could have had him in a match. Jeff Hardy wasn't on the show. Ricochet wasn't on the show. Like, you could have had them, like, you could have had like a cool attraction match with, like, Ricochet or Jeff Hardy, Keith Lee, Ricochet, Jeff Hardy triple threat match. I don't know. You literally could have did something like with that 20 minutes. You could have added that as an extra match. You could have added extra time to other matches, but you decided to show 20 minutes of this foolishness. I didn't like it. And then the match itself, and another problem that I have, the more I think about it, is unless this leads to murder Asuka, like, you could have, this spot that Asuka was in, like, I love the character stuff that Alexa Bliss is doing. The whole 3 faces of Alexa. You have the Firefly Alexa. You have the regular Alexa who's coming out, who's all super scared and stuff like that. And then you have Murder Fiend Alexa. You have those. Those are great. Why are you doing this against Asuka when you have a perfectly good Nikki Cross? Nikki Cross is like saying that Alexa's her best friend, that she wants to, rid her of the Fiend. She wants to get her back on track and stuff like that. You could have easily put Nikki Cross in this spot instead of putting Asuka in the spot. Easily could have did that, and then that way Asuka could did other stuff, like she could have been an 8-man tag match. You could have had Charlotte, Asuka, Dana, and Sexy Muscle Friends, her and Mandy, versus Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce, who also wasn't on the show for whatever reason, Shayna, and Nia Jax. You could have had those 8. The continue the feud between Lacey and Charlotte Flair. Continue feud between Asuka and Charlotte and Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, and also with the Sexy Muscle Friends. You could have had all of that into one. You could have had it a nice 8-man women's tag team match. You could have made that at least 15-20 minutes. You could have cut all that stuff off with the Randy Orton, whatever that all stuff. Like, you could have cut that into like 5 minutes, maybe, if you wanted to do that. Even if they did the stuff last week, they could have did it this week. That, Nikki Cross, she saw what happens. This week she wants to, she thinks she has a way to do, take out Alexa Bliss or get her back into, that thing. And then you could put Nikki Cross in that situation. Would have worked probably just as better, because that's supposed to be her best friend, and especially like Alexa Bliss would have went back to like regular Alexa Bliss, scared, could have had her, could have did a thing where Nikki Cross, goes to her, she's like, oh, Lexi, and all that stuff, and she walked, tried to give her a hug, and then, she like faked her, went under there, turned around, did the, and then turned into like murder Alexa, she could have did that whole thing, and then they could have did the thing where, boom, had her in mandible claw, Randy Orton comes up like he did, boom, RKO. That's really why this is number 3, because Randy RKO'd the living bejesus out of Alexa Bliss, and it was great to see. But yeah, that was all. It was fine, the character work, but if it was just like Nikki Cross instead of Asuka, it would have been 20 times better. And I hope, like, if Alexa Bliss wins the Royal Rumble, I don't know if she is. If she does, that'd be great. She has a match against Asuka. She beats Asuka at WrestleMania, which would be fine. If anything Fiend touches, turns into, changes their character. I would love for this to change Asuka's character. She goes away for, April, May, June, July, 3 months. Comes back for SummerSlam, turns into Murder Asuka. Kana turned into her, just starts beating everybody up, speaking Japanese, kicking everybody in the face, just murder Kana. I'll be all for that. I don't think they're going to do that, but that would be something I would be all for. But, yep, that's number 3. Number 2, I switched. I put with the, what did I put? Oh, I put Sheamus MVP. Sheamus came out, and then, again, this is one of the problems that I had. Sheamus comes out. He's supposed to have his match with John Morrison. They have a match. It's very good. Sheamus has been killing it. Sheamus is on his technical wave, and it's great. I love to see it. He killed it, and he pretty much had a fantastic match with John Morrison. John Morrison got his kicks in. They were all crisp, beautifully crisp. But in the end, Sheamus hit a nice knee to Morrison, and then I think a white noise, and he came up with a nice hard fought win. And then he's about to leave, and then the Miz was like, no, you want to be prepared for the Rumble, which having a match has nothing to do with preparing for the Rumble, but anyway, that's not my business. He's like, how about you face me and John Morrison? And then in that instance, I would have thought, my brain, I was thinking, oh, surely Keith Lee is going to come out. I was like, no, we're going to have tag team match, because I guess they're kind of sort of friends or whatever like that. But instead, no, or Drew McIntyre or something like that. But instead, Sheamus was like, nah, I'll fight you guys one-on-one. And he fought them one-on-one, or two-on-one. And again, he killed it. Put another great match out of both of them. And in the end for that, Sheamus almost won. Like, he was tearing them both up. And Sheamus almost won. I think John Morrison went to go on the top rope. Sheamus moves out the way, hits him with a broad kick, and then Miz comes behind for a skull-crushing finale for the win. So Sheamus gets 1 win, 1 loss. Morrison gets 1 win, 1 loss, and The Miz gets a win, I guess. I mean, and then that's another thing. You could have had the match, and you could have did a thing where Keith Lee could have came out. It was like, nah, he just had a match. John Morrison just had a match. Well, you didn't have a match. I didn't have a match. How about you face me one-on-one? And then we get Keith versus The Miz. And then you get like another type of, one-on-one match. And, Keith Lee wins because Keith Lee's great. And, they have each other's back for right now. Or Drew McIntyre comes out, it's like, hey, I didn't have a match. Why are we going to try to bully him into a 2-on-1 handicap match? How about you make it a 2-on-2 match? Or how about I face you 1-on-1 or something like that? They probably didn't want to do, you could have did a whole bunch of other things than having them go back to back, especially when you didn't have Keith Lee, especially when Drew McIntyre didn't even wrestle. And they did the thing from earlier when he claymored them. I think he claymored John Morrison because Miz was holding the ribs, so I assumed that he got speared. So you could have threw him in. Jeff Hardy didn't have a match. Ricochet didn't have a match. Elias didn't have a match. Like, these guys didn't have matches, and yet you're doing 2-on-1 handicap matches. Like, it doesn't make sense. But it was still really good. Sheamus really outshine, and so did John Morrison. But my number one, before I get to my number one, one more thing that did happen was awesome. Edge cuts a promo. He pretty much talks about. I'll just get to the gist of it. Edge is entered in the Royal Rumble. Yas, Queen, yas. Edge is entered the Royal Rumble. Fantastic. He did a very fantastic promo. Pretty much was talking about his journey of coming back, and it started last. It all started. He started as when he retired. He was world champion at WrestleMania. He started on top. A couple days later on SmackDown, he had to relinquish it. He spent all these years, contemplating. Talk about his mom, saying, all he ever wanted to do was be a wrestler, and then his mom told him to go do it. Saying, better easy said than done. But he came back last year, entered the Royal Rumble, kind of did go his way, and then he got hurt again. He said if he was heard it from his mom would have just told him just to do it. So with that in mind, he said he wants to come back and go to WrestleMania. He said he doesn't have a lot of chances left. Go and do what he does and get the title that he never lost, which was technically the World Heavyweight Championship, and they don't have that anymore. But you know what he meant. So he said that he's declared himself into the Royal Rumble. Edge is so great on the mic, and it's going to be so great to see Edge at the Royal Rumble. Is he going to win though? Nah, I don't think he's going to win, but it's going to be great to see him though. So I had to throw that out there. And number one was the Gauntlet match. So I'll just throw in everything that happened with the Gauntlet match because I kind of forgot to mention this part anyway. MVP does his lounge. He says his spiel. He said that Bobby Lashley was the one who called this meeting, but he said before he does that, he has to address them that tonight's the Gauntlet match. We have to make sure that everything's good. Gotta be on the same page or whatever like that. So they said yeah, whatever. And then Bobby Lashley was talking about how everybody was dripped in gold. I'm United States champion, tag team champions. We're all on the same page. We're all doing great. And it's all because of MVP. And then Shelton Benjamin talks. Shelton Benjamin comes out with a mask, which is great. But then he forgot that he had the mask on. He took it off. He was like, oh, shit. This is hilarious. And he comes down and he starts talking. And then Alexander was like, I think what he means to say is, we pitched in. He gave him a present. It's like a chain. So they're all dripped in gold. And it says it's THB, the Hurt Business. Alexander was talking about how they how he's the one that got it for him, like how he designed it, how 24 karat gold, all those other good stuff. Him and Shelton Benjamin goes back and forth. Our Truth comes out and they're like, why is this guy out here? He was talking to Matt Riddle. He was saying that his birthday was last week, and he heard that the Hurt Business was having a surprise party for him. And Matt Riddle was like, oh man, yeah, no, that's dope, man. And he was talking about something about 24 carats, 24/7 carat gold carats or something like that that they're gonna give to him. He was telling him if nobody tells him about the secret, that he'll share some of his gold carats with him or whatever like that. He was like, yeah, no, dope, your secret's safe with me. They're both stoned, they give each other fist bumps. So he comes out. They're like, dude, why are you out here? It's like, yo, I know you came to give me like happy birthday, my birthday. He was like, the THB. He was like, Truth, happy birthday or something like that. And then Bobby Lashley was like, oh yeah, yo, I kind of forgot. We do have a present for you, yeah. And everybody was looking. I was like, yeah, no, we do have a present. It's right inside here. You gotta come. And everybody was like, oh yeah, and here, come get it and stuff like that. And Truth was like, that's not really a good idea. So the 5 people in the 24/7 division come out, try to attack him. They try to roll him up, whatever like that. He kicks out. Her Business come out. They beat him up. I'm not gonna hold you. I thought they were gonna go out there. I thought they was gonna roll him up. Truth, he was gonna get beat up. MVP was gonna pin him, and he was gonna be 24/7. And it was all gonna be double draped in gold. But instead, what happened was Matt Riddle comes out. Boom! Final flash on MVP. He leaves. Everybody tries to get in there and attack him and stuff like that. So that was like the premise. And then they had the match, and two of the three matches was really good. The second one was, it was just there. First one, they had a match. Great back and forth. Shelton Benjamin and Matt Riddle do very good, work together. They go in there. Shelton Benjamin's like dominating most of the stuff, but then Cedric Alexander comes in. He tries to help. He gets on the apron, but he had him rolled up, and Shelton had him rolled up for like the 3. He gets down. He comes in. Ref goes for the cover, and Matt Riddle had kicked out. And then Shelton Benjamin obviously is not happy about it. Goes in and was like, "Yo, what are you doing?" He was like, "I'm trying to help you." And then he turns around, and then Riddle gets this victory roll thing on Shelton Benjamin for the 3. Hilarious. People are mad. MVP was like, "See what happens? You getting in there?" And then MVP was, and the Shelton was like, "I was trying to help him." It was like, "Stop helping people." And then he goes in there. He tells the ref, they're about to ring the bell. He tells the ref because Shelton and Cedric is still arguing. He tells the ref, "Hold on, just relax. Let me handle this real quick." And he's yelling at them to do it. Ref says, "Ring the bell." He rings the bell. MVP comes behind. Matt Riddle comes behind him, puts him in like a Kimura type move. MVP quickly taps out. Argues again. MVP is like, "Are you kidding me?" He comes out. He's like, "You know what? Get in there." And so he gets in there. They go to commercial break. Cedric is molly-whopping Matt Riddle. And MVP and Shelton Benjamin they're so mad. They're so mad. They're just staring at him. Every time that they would, Matt Riddle kind of would get like a small offense on him. Cedric would stop it down, and you can see they get more and more mad. And then after they would get more mad, then MVP would get mad, and then he would start, help him out again. He did like a brainbuster type thing, and he didn't hook the leg or something like that. And then MVP is mad. He was like, "You know why you didn't get the win? Because you didn't hook the leg." And then Cedric was like, "I know." He was like, "Well, if you knew, you would have did that." He was like, "You learned that basic training and stuff like that." So he was trying to teach him and all that other stuff. Fantastic back and forth with Matt Riddle and Cedric Alexander. And then, of course, the same way he got Shelton Benjamin, he got Cedric Alexander with a nice, clean roll-up for the 1-2-3. Fantastic. He wins. He has his match with Bobby Lashley, which I'm guessing is at the Rumble. Lashley comes out, his music comes out, hits him, gets him in a hurt lock, takes him out, and Hurt Business, they walk away. So this was far and beyond. Just Matt Riddle and Cedric Alexander alone was just fantastic. I don't know if Matt Riddle's going to win at the Royal Rumble. He could, and maybe Bobby Lashley could either probably win the Rumble. Maybe he'll win the Rumble, or maybe I don't know. Something would happen, but I think it is time for Lashley to move up. I think he's done enough with the United States Championship. I think he is ready to be WWE Champion, honestly, in my book. I think he's ready. But all in all, the show was, it is what it is. It was what it was. That ending was great. The match with Sheamus, he killed it. Him and John Morrison did great. The promo from Edge was fantastic. The Alexa Bliss, her work is great, but I wish it was somebody not named Asuka. So with that, I'm going to give the show a C+. I gave it that last week, but I mean, the show is just very long, and when there's not enough wrestling, when there's just a lot of just talking and segments that you don't need, it kind of drags the show down. But that's the end. What did you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.